What's going on, people, and welcome to a brand new episode of Too Many Games and Not Enough Time, the podcast where I get to speak to incredible gamers across the globe. Now, thank you for so much love on the channel. Yes, we started a Discord, so make sure you come and join. And we've got a competition specifically just for the Discord community, so come and join in. And if you are listening to us on any of your podcast services, come on the YouTube, come and check out our guest faces, give us a thumbs up and give us that subscribe. Now, on today's episode, I have some of the leaders when it comes to JRPGs. I'm talking deep dives and retrospectives, everything from your top RPG pro tags, chilling vibes with JRPG beaches. I'm talking the mature JRPGs. I have Gaming Broductions in the building. Corbin and Evan, welcome to Too Many Games.
Thanks for having us. Love to be here.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having us, man. Looking forward to talking about some JRPGs.
So I'm super excited to talk to both of you. I am the biggest JRPG head. Love myself role-playing game. As you can see, my Cloud Strife right behind me.
Right on.
Good setup.
And sometimes in YouTube, as you know, you just go around and you get lost in the rabbit hole of the algorithm. And I came across your channel, and I swear, no gas, I watched about 5 videos. And I really, really like your videos. I love your videos for 3 reasons. 1, I really love the deep dives and retrospectives and how deep you kind of get into the content. I love how kind of light-hearted and funny your edits are. Your edits are super, super cool. And just really your knowledge. So, Evan, give us a little breakdown of how Gaming Broductions started together and how you lot kind of connected.
Well, I would say it started about 7 years ago. We were wanting to get into YouTube. Didn't really know what we were going to do exactly. So we're kind of like trying out a couple things and kind of had a little bit of hiatus. You know, life happened, work, things like that. And then lo and behold, 2020 is the pandemic. It's like, well, do you want to start up again? You know, work was a little bit slow on both ends. So we kind of started cracking away, and we kind of had more of a plan of what we want to do. And, you know, we both play a lot of JRPGs as kids, and we just thought this is what we should do. And we just kind of just took it, you know, day by day, and just been, you know, with it consistent.
That's dope, man. Like I said, really, really love the content. Corbin, your videos are proper deep dives, retrospectives. You go into a lot of detail. It's really high-end editing. Where does the process start for one of these videos? Because I know it's a lot of work to get this content out.
Right. So we have like, you know, different types of videos. We have like our deep dive retrospective, like you were talking about, our like kind of top 10 type of list. We have like our breakdowns of like companies in the 90s, like Squaresoft and Enix. So it kind of depends on the type of video we're making, first of all. But for like the retrospectives, the deep dives with that, generally, I'll just start playing the game and kind of just take notes as I'm going along, like things that I think would be great talking points, things that really impressed me, things that I thought aged really well about it, things that I thought didn't age that well about it. And kind of, you know, I'll just come up with like a rough draft from there, kind of get some bullet points, stuff I want to focus on. And then kind of when I get to recording and stuff, I kind of just like, I mean, I have like a general script, but like I kind of improvise some parts as well. If like some part I really think that would make a good point, you know, I'll kind of just go into more depth about something that I maybe initially planned on. And Evan's really good at editing it all together. We're brothers in real life, so we have like kind of a good connection in that aspect. You know, if I have a certain talking point, Evan generally kind of knows like what edit I'm looking for when I'm like talking about something. So it kind of just work well in that aspect.
I thought you lot looked similar. I just thought you had a Cloud and Zach vibe kind of going on. You get me? I thought one of you is the originator and the other one No, what are you joking?
Yeah. No, it's for the Gaming Broductions part of our name. We're actually
I
pros
get
in
it.
real
All
life.
right,
It's real
cool.
life, real. It's a thing.
I thought you was just doing it for the man them, you get me? But I get it. That's super dope. All
Yeah.
right, so on my channel I talk about a lot of JRPGs, but we kind of usually stay on the more commercial side with the Xenoblades and the Final Fantasies and stuff like that. But it's very rarely like I kind of watch people's content and they kind of lose me into stuff that I've never heard about and I have to go and research. Like one of my favorite JRPGs that I always would love to get that kind of Final Fantasy VII remake treatment is Skies of Arcadia. Like Skies of Arcadia is my game. That is my jam. So a question for both of you. What is a old school RPG that you love? Could be JRPG or Western RPG that you really love that you think should get like a coat of paint. You want more people to kind of know about this game. A game that both RPG and normal fans should really sink their teeth into.
Good question.
Let's see here. That's a good question. I would have said the Grandia series, but they actually just kind of did a remaster of that a few years back. I was a big fan of the first Grandia 1 and 2 games. So besides that, I'd probably go the Wild Arms series. You know, I'm a big fan of the Wild West motif. I really like Trigun, stuff like that back in the day. So kind of like a Wild West fantasy setting. It's always just really intrigued me, and I think there's a lot of potential in a setting like that. There's really not a lot of, Wild Western inspired fantasy like games like out there, especially in the RPGs. So I just think something like that, could have a lot of interest and potential there. Xenogears is another one that I actually
That was honestly one of the RPGs I never heard of, and I had to go and research after your video.
Okay, nice. Yeah. It was always like there was 5 games in the mainline series, so it had some level of popularity. It just never really like popped off that much, and it's kind of been forgotten about with time. It's been a long time since the last entry, so.
I think the only RPG series I've ever played that had that kind of Western aesthetic is it Live Alive or Live Alive? I don't even know what the title actually
I've
is.
always heard different names, but
yeah, so that's probably the only thing. And I'm like, when I was playing it, I was like, why is this not done more? Like, it is such a sick setting, and it really works out. What about you, Evan?
Man, I was gonna say Chrono Cross, but of course they just released that whole, one a couple months ago. That was when I played like so many times in a row, just countless times. But to go deeper back though, I don't know. It's hard to say. Super Mario RPG was a really game I was really fond of as a kid because Corbin and I played it, and our daddies played with us as well. And it'd be kind of cool to get more like a maybe more modern update with that one. It just it holds a special spot in my heart, and I know it does with Corbin too.
So how do you lot feel about Paper Mario? Because I don't love Paper Mario. Like, I enjoy it. I don't think that like the aesthetics. It's taken me a long time to actually get into it, and I feel like obviously that's replaced the Mario RPG series, and they've just like basically forgotten about that series now. Paper Mario's a thing.
I mean, it's fine for what it is though, but I like the graphics more on the old school one. Something about just pixelated sprites just looks better for me. It just like, I don't know, it just hits different, and that nostalgia base that really goes for it. And it's they have a little bit of Final Fantasy in that game as well. Some of the hidden bosses is in there. So I mean, the art style for Paper Mario, it is what it is, but it's just not my personal art style preference.
I still like the first Paper Mario game and Thousand Year Door for the GameCube. I thought those were really excellent games. I still like Super Mario RPG probably a little bit more. But with that said, those first 2 Paper Mario games I really, really liked. Unfortunately, I think the series has kind of delved farther and farther from its RPG roots. I know there's been a lot of kind of complaints over the years with stuff like Sticker Star and I forget some of the other names now. I know Origami King was like the newest one that came out, and
yeah,
it had a charming art style, a lot of cool stuff about it. But even still, I think some aspects not crazy about. I do wish they would go more into the RPG mechanics and kind of give us more original characters. I think it's why a lot of people like Super Mario RPG so much. It gave us some original characters like
Oh,
Gino,
Gino.
Malo,
Yeah.
Mallow, whatever. And yeah, I don't know. It just was a really cool blend of like a Mario universe, but with like some extra fantasy in it also.
Hashtag for Smash. Evan, all right, I've got a question for you.
What's up?
Now we live in a modern day. Every game has some kind of RPG mechanics. So I feel like a lot more people are kind of more used to those kind of RPG mechanics. It's not as such an alien thing to them. And games like Persona and Shin Megami Tensei becoming so popular has actually had people who before have been a bit scared off by the genre willing to come in. What is an RPG that you would recommend for someone that's kind of new? Maybe they've spent some time with Persona, maybe they've spent a little bit time with maybe a Octopath Traveler or something like that, but they've never gone too deep. So we don't want something that is going to be too much mechanics, that's going to blow their minds, something that they can just kind of ease in and continue their JRPG journey.
I mean, they kind of stick with it. Super Mario RPG. I mean, everyone knows who Mario is. If you're trying to like want to give it a dabble, I mean, it's a little old school in its own way, but I think people will appreciate the nostalgia factor of Mario, and they want to try what kind of a simpler RPG is. Though, I mean, that's just what I would tell a lot of people. I always like coming across a lot, but that's a little bit more, probably a little bit more out there compared to like some other RPGs. So yeah, probably Super Mario RPG, just like everyone knows who Mario is, and yeah, he's super iconic, and I think it's an easy way to get into it.
I like that. I like that. Corbin, let's take it back to the little gaming bros, yeah? When you lot were little bros, what was the RPGs that really cemented this love of JRPGs? Because I feel like people who love JRPGs, it's like a lifetime love. It's very rarely that I ever met anyone who's just like, oh, I've just got into JRPGs yesterday and now I love them. Most of us have loved it from our childhood and it's gone with us. So what are some of the JRPGs that really took you on this journey?
Right. Okay. So to switch it up from Super Mario RPG, because that was technically the first RPG I ever played and got introduced to back in the day. But to switch it up from that, my first like more serious RPG, I guess you could say, was a Legend of Legaia for the PlayStation. I remember I rented that from Blockbuster one day. Didn't even know what an RPG was. As soon as I got into the battle system, so you saw like all the commands and stuff like that you could do, and the equipment you can equip, and the equipment actually showed up on your character in that game, like during battles, which I just thought was really, really cool. I mean, a lot of RPGs that stay still don't really do stuff like that. So Legend of Legaia really got me into it. I think I probably played one of the like Final Fantasy VII after that, the first couple Wild Arms games, the first Grandia. So after those handful of games, I was just sold. I was hooked. I couldn't get enough. I just was trying to get anything that had the RPG label on it. I was like, sign me up. I want to check this out, see what it's all about. So
what? That's a good list to get you sucked. If those don't get you sucked in, there's not much that's going to be able to you. I've got a question for both of you. Same question, but I'm going to start with Evan. So we have so many modern day RPGs, and the whole turn-based RPG isn't such a big thing. But like I said earlier, games like Persona, Shin Megami Tensei still kind of really lean into that, and we have games like Octopath Traveler that are using that kind of tactic style, and then we've got the more modern real-time like Final Fantasy VII Remake, like Tales of Arise. How do you feel about these new age, to both of you, starting with Evan, these new age combat systems in these new age RPGs?
I mean, I think it's always good when games try to do something different, though. It may not always work, but it may draw a new fan base because, like I said, the old school, just, turn-based, maybe a little boring for some people, but some people may want to try out like Final Fantasy 15, where it's a little more action-based and a little more kind of more active type of style. So I think it comes down to the preference of what you want to do. I mean, I'm all for games trying to be different and be progressive, but still trying to hang on to its roots of like what makes an RPG, like it's having that strong like tie to it still. So I don't mind it though. If the game looks fun and the story is good and the music is good, graphics, and yeah, I'm definitely gonna give it a try, as long as like they kind of still hang on the roots of the RPG style elements. So a lot of games now do that because you got NBA 2K has like somewhat RPG element styles where you kind of customize your character and stats like that. So like you said, it's all becoming like almost like not full circle, but every game starting to implement that RPG style to it in a sense.
Yeah. Corbin, same question to you.
Yeah, so I think we live in a really good time for JRPGs right now. I feel like kind of after that Super Nintendo, PlayStation, golden era or whatever, there were some down years for JRPGs and whatnot. But more recent years, we've gotten a lot of different varieties of battle systems and combat. For old school turn-based lovers, there's still like Dragon Quest XI, Yakuza, Like a Dragon, the Persona and Shin Megami Tensei series. Then there's obviously like action RPGs like Tales of Arise, if you want to count Nier Automata as action RPG, stuff like that. So like I think it's good because there's a little bit for everyone these days. If people want more fast-paced stuff, we have that. If people want some old school turn-based where you utilize a lot of strategy and the thinking and planning ahead, we have that too.
Yeah, there was a dark time for RPG fans, and we just had to take anything we can get. But we're getting some good stuff. All right, cool. I'm putting you both on the spot, right? Gotta get into pitch meeting time, yeah. I'm the head of Square Enix right now. I've got a nice little budget for you. I just watched your videos. I love your vibes. I'm giving you both a call, and I want you to pitch me any film into a JRPG, but it's gonna be old school, but it's gonna have the HD 2D art style. So we're not doing real thing. We want that kind of old school pixelated or the HD 2D art style. What's the game gonna be, and just really briefly why? Either of you can start. I don't mind.
And
Evan, you got anything off the top of your head?
Based from a movie?
Any movie in the world.
Any movie, an RPG based off any movie. For some reason, something came to mind like I don't know.
You still need to think?
Yeah.
All right.
It's a good question.
Mine's gonna be super cliche and stuff, but I've always wanted to see like a Star Wars like RPG or something. Like just think of like the old school like Phantasy Star games. Those kind of took some inspiration from Star Wars with that like kind of sci-fi fantasy blend or whatever. So I think something in that universe would just be really, really cool. I've always been a huge Star Wars fan, not necessarily a huge fan of every piece of material they put out, but like just the universe itself. I think it's just like very, very cool. Just the concept of, like space samurais and stuff fighting with lightsabers. Yeah, it's just cool.
Yeah, that's a really good answer. And we know RPGs are always stealing stuff from Star Wars anyway. So
right.
that's
Sounds like it's kind of a cop-out answer, but it was
no,
just
I like it.
Cool setting.
I'm down with it. Evan, speak to me. Pitch for me.
Akira would be a good one from 1980. I don't know how they do Akira, but just like there's just so many cool like scenes and characters and just the setting. I don't know how it'd be done, but I feel like that could be a pretty cool like turn-based system.
Why is Akira? Why do they not have a game of Akira? Like that is just the perfect game. I would even down to like if we was doing Akira, I would want full Final Fantasy VII remake budget. Like I want to be on that bike. I want to be fighting biker gangs. Like that anime should always like. I don't understand it. Like someone give someone a budget and make that game and make it right. I don't want no stupid game of it. Make it right because that could just be done perfect.
Yeah, totally. I agree. It's a very iconic, legendary movie for like a reason, so.
What popped into my mind when I was asking the question was for that HD2 art D style. I would like, oh my gosh, why is it gone out of my head? John Wick.
Oh,
John Wick. I would love a John Wick. I want that Neo kind of art style. I want that kind of fighting. I think John Wick would be like a pretty cool, different kind of style. We're running out of time. Like I said, I feel like your content is really, really cool. If you are a JRPG fan, you really need to go and check them out. There's such a variety, and I love you can have something that's just kind of silly, like the JRPG Beaches, which is really kind of cool, relax, or you can go into something that's a real kind of deep dive retrospective. Just both of you, one answer each. If you wanted to send someone to a specific video on your channel, they're liking your vibe, they've never heard of you before, they've seen you now, they want to check out the content, what video would you send them to?
Maybe Squaresoft in the 90s, though. That's just a good starting point, I think.
Yeah, that's like our most popular video, the one that really kind of popped off for us and, kind of made our channel grow a lot. I would say the Enix in the 90s, it's a little bit higher production quality.
I agree.
Because we saw how good the Squaresoft in the 90s video did. It's like, all right, let's do an Enix one and let's make it even better, So we kind of just try to up the quality just overall a little bit. I know Enix wasn't as popular as Squaresoft in the West back in the day, but we cover a lot of like really obscure games, a lot of Japanese only games that never saw to the States or whatever. So there's a lot of just really cool content in there that I don't think a lot of people know about really. So that's why
definitely plan on doing more.
It is like an hour long though, so it's kind of a longer video for sure.
Yeah, you can just watch it in parts. You don't have to watch it all in one time. Gaming Broductions, thank you so much for joining me on Too Many Games. Make sure you go and check them out. They are super dope. Remember, I said you can come and join the Discord. We've got amazing competitions to give you. If you're listening to us on any podcast services, make sure you come over to the video, give us a thumbs up, give us a like. Make sure you go and subscribe to their channel if you are a JRPG fan, because I'm telling you, you will not regret it. I've been Mr. Midas. They've been Gaming Broductions. You've been the MVPs, and we out of here. Peace.
Thanks, Midas. You're the man.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for having us. Been a lot of fun.
Thank you both. Super sick.